Today, we're going to be talking about chronic inconsistency. The best way I'm going to describe it is I know what to do, but I can't bring myself to doing it consistently. If this is you, then this video is definitely for you. Welcome to the Tribe Clan. This is a space for leaders, for elite performers to work on their most critical asset, which is their well-being. And I'm your host, Judith Gbadebo. I'm a psychologist and a well-being partner. I work with high-performing leaders to identify and fix their well-being gaps. So if you'd like to work with me on a personal level, you can get more details in the description below. So let's get into the video today. Today, we're going to be talking about chronic inconsistency, and it stems from the disconnect between your skills, your capacity, and your actual output. So you're very great at something, you get encouraged, you get told about your skill set, a lot. But for some reason, your output doesn't match. Why is that? Chronic inconsistency comes usually from a period of you're a brilliant person, no doubt about that. Everyone knows that, you know that, but there's no consistency to this. So what that means is there can be high intensity to, your performance, and then other times it just plateaus. You're not as creative, you're not as intuitive, you're not doing anything, right? And because of how unpredictable your productivity is, it's currently stalling your progress. It feels like you are unreliable in a lot of things. Right. And that's what inconsistency does, especially if that's what shows up, for the most part. You might be someone who, people have high expectations for. You have high expectations for yourself. You have high standards. But it could be perfectionism that has caused you to struggle with your output, right? Wanting things to be perfect. So you've already set a standard, right? Or maybe because you've performed excellently in the past. Now, to do anything that doesn't feel as great feels too little, right? So you rather not engage. And what that has caused now is your output is little to non-existent, essentially. This can feel very sad, especially if it has caused you to become stagnant, in your progress. You've now become someone who almost is seen as a person that lacks follow through. And deep down, you want to be committed to excellence. You want to be committed to being the person who shows up, right? The person who is consistent, the person who is true to their word, whatever that is, right? But you've just not been able to do that. And there are different ways it's hurting you, okay? Let's look at the ways it's hurting you and what we can actually do about it. If we can even do anything about it, or maybe I'm just here to just gist with you. Really, maybe I'm not here to provide any sort of solution. I don't know, but let's see, right? A way it shows up that is, it can be quite sad, depending on you as an individual, is the unreliability it leads to in yourself and in others, right? So people start to lose trust in you, and you start to lose trust in yourself as well. So you might be someone who, you've said, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to get this done. You set certain goals for yourself. You set certain deliverables for yourself, whatever that is, right? Life plan, right? And now you're very dissatisfied with your results because you didn't show up. Ultimately, you lacked follow through, right? You notice stagnation now. You see, of course, based on on what you did or didn't do, the result is that there's now stagnation, right? The result is that people have lost trust in you. The result is that people don't see you as reliable, right? It might be because you overestimated what you could deliver on. It could be for so many reasons, really, but nonetheless, it now causes some type of emotional turmoil. Nonetheless, it now causes some well-being difficulties. Nonetheless, it's now become a well-being gap that needs to be fixed. There are other ways it shows up as well, and that's stress and burnout. Stress and burnout, and the only way you are able to cope is last minute work, last minute duty, last minute performance. Because so for you, it might be that you're not the type to disappoint people, right? Or even want to disappoint yourself. So you've set certain goals, right? And even though you've not been consistent with the level of quality you want, with the level of productivity that you want, and you know is best, you still don't want to fail yourself in your entirety. So for one person, they just let go entirely, right? And those ones, they lose the trust fully for themselves, and for, the people around them also lose trust in them. For others that still push through, even though it's very difficult, so they do the last minute deadlines, they do the last minute deliverables, they show up half-fast. Stress and burnout is how they manage. It's not good either ways, but for those ones, stress is how it shows up, burnout is how it shows up, right? Because you are chronically inconsistent. So what that looks like, it can be something you are supposed to have, some trainings you're supposed to have. Maybe you've been invited to join a board, and you know that you have certain skills you need to improve on. We all have skills we need to improve on, right? But you've not shown up consistently to improve. So what happens is, because you have so many other things and you procrastinated on this, your quality in delivery is poor, right? And prior to your next meeting, you still don't prepare. You come again, your delivery is poor. Other aspects of your life suffering. Other aspects of your life struggling. Quality diminishing, stress is increasing, burnout is imminent or already in view, right? Really, where are we going with all this? Chronic inconsistency. Where are we going with it? And it usually stems from the paradox of potential sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So you are someone who has maybe you've been given this, yeah, you have the potential to do this. You can't handle this, you can't handle this. And then it makes you bite more than you can chew. It makes you take on more than you are able to accommodate for in your life. Honestly, truly. And that's why you have inconsistent performance. That's why you are constantly dissatisfied. You are constantly on edge. You are constantly displeased. And after a while, because once stress and burnout set in, it's also going to start leading to some level of anhedonia. So you start losing interest in things that you formerly, were interested in. Things that were exciting to you. You start to lose interest because it's now feeling even much more tasking than it was in the beginning. Because you didn't give it room to breathe. You didn't give yourself room to grow with the demands that it required. So what can we do about it? Or can we do anything about it? Like I said, are we here to gist or not? Okay, what can we do about it? Yes, we absolutely can do something about it. No matter how little, we can definitely do something about it. The first thing to do when you notice inconsistency is that there might be a chance that I'm searching for brilliance, the best delivery. And as a result, I am not able to show up to even start anything at all. So how about I choose consistency, no matter how little? Instead of brilliance, let me just choose consistency. And then I know gradually the brilliance will build, right? How about I choose to show up imperfectly and embrace that, right? And understand that as long as I'm committed to constantly improving, I'll be fine. Because if I wait to get to the point where, I'm perfect for the job before I take it on, how many things will actually pass us by? And even at any point in time, we're actually placed in places that, is above our skill set, and we don't show up consistently to improve, the gap will start to get wide and much wider. And after a while, we are not able to catch up any longer. So how about let go of the idea of let me show up perfectly, let me show up brilliantly, the best, and show up consistently, gradually, Kaizen, okay? Consistently improving. Is that possible? Very, very possible. No matter how little. So show up today, but make sure the next time you're showing up a little bit better. A little bit better. Who will be better down the line? Someone who waited for brilliance before executing, or someone who started showing up consistently, gradually, and starts seeing improvement over time? Who will be better in the long run? Of course, the person who showed up consistently. So please, let's accept the imperfection, okay? Let's welcome it. We're humans after all. We're not made perfect. And wabi-sabi is obviously always an art. And it's something that I genuinely love. Wabi-sabi is something that, how I would describe wabi-sabi in my personal life, and I think it can also help everyone listening right now. Wabi-sabi for me is such that I genuinely don't even enjoy perfect things, right? Reason being, there's just that beauty in just embracing the flaw to something, right? It could be as little as I saw this very funny thing where the person was like, at this point, imperfect English is my brand, which was hilarious to me because he spoke really great English. But he was like, whenever he writes, sometimes, he makes some typographical error, but he's noticed improvement over time. But he had the interest in writing, right? Imagine if someone like that was like, oh, I would never try it because I'm not perfect yet. So let me continue waiting till I'm perfect before I try it. What would that be? But he now made a joke out of it. He was like, please, if you see any typographical error, just understand that's part of my brand till I get to the point where it's no longer there. How beautiful that is, because I found that very, very beautiful. Okay, and I like seeing that embrace, right? The embrace of, yes, it's imperfect, so what? So what? It's imperfect is beautiful. It's imperfect is fine. We're humans, we're not made to be perfect. Okay? We're constantly improving. So if you decide, oh, you just want to stay perfect, then you want to stay stuck because you're not going to allow yourself to improve, clearly. Another thing you can do is try to review the reason for this chronic inconsistency, because nothing comes out of the ordinary or out of the blues, right? So there might be something there. And something there in the sense of, is it that you don't have clarity of what you need to actually do? Because sometimes when we don't have clarity, we just dance around it. We're not very sure. Maybe it's just as simple as breaking it down to, oh, this is the first thing I need to do, then this, then this, then this. Then this is what makes it finite, because this is the start and then this is the end of this project. It becomes clearer, right? But if I'm not consistent, it might be because I don't even know where to start. I don't know where I'm going. I have no sense of direction. I have no clarity on anything. That might be the concern you are having. So maybe what you require in that regard is clarity. Okay, so you want to reflect. Ask yourself, why am I not consistent? If this thing matters to me at all, does it? If it doesn't, then you are now sure, but at least ask for clarity's sake, right? Does it matter? And if it does matter, okay, how can I show up consistently? And why haven't I shown up consistently so far? To round it off, right? Chronic inconsistency really is a gap. And it's a gap between what you can do, what your potential is, and the actualization of it. And sometimes it can be very saddening, right? It can be a source of concern, for a person, especially if you constantly feel, I can do much more. Why is it that I'm not able to? Right? Why is it that I'm not able to do great work? Why is it that what I'm doing is quite subpar? It's not so, I'm not pleased with my output. I'm not pleased with what I've done so far. I'm not so happy with it. How can I improve? Is this just what it's going to be? It's not what it's just going to be. Okay? And that's why I decided to talk about this. Because for the most part, when you are an elite performer, a lot of these concerns, they are things that you might have as inner thoughts. They are not things you might be able to share to the next person, share with the next person. That's why we're here. That's why the Tribe Clan exists, really. So please, if this is something you experience, right, talk about how it shows up for you. Okay? And I can do another video even going deeper into how your specific concern can be handled. Okay? So that will be all for the video today. Remember that the Tribe Clan is a place where leaders come to be themselves outside of the pressures of perfection. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.